Hello, friends. Welcome to our Wesak webinar. Friends, I would like 2 volunteers to voice the first and the second invocation at the end.
I can do the first.
I can do the second.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And this webinar will be recorded, and you can use it if you like during the first 18 hours before the actual full moon, if you cannot make it to the exact time. So before we start the visualization in the Wesak Valley itself, let's briefly deepen our understanding of what the Wesak Festival is all about. It is the festival of the Buddha, who is the spiritual intermediary between the highest spiritual center, Shambhala, and hierarchy. And as you know, the Buddha is the expression of the wisdom of God, the embodiment of the cosmic principle of light, and the indicator of the divine purpose, being the intermediary between Shambhala and hierarchy. And at the full moon of May, the Buddha embodies in himself the powerful downpouring of energy, the dynamic energy of the divine will. And for a brief moment, 8 minutes to be exact, at the Taurus full moon, he makes contact and blesses hierarchy and humanity. And year by year, since he left the earth, he has come back to humanity, bringing light and blessing. And year by year, he has released this light of wisdom. So how does he achieve this? Well, he keeps a channel open for the light to irradiate men's minds by piercing annually through light substance to the earth. And his light pierces the Buddhic plane, the higher mental plane, and reaching then the lower minds of men on the 4th subplane. There is a critical alignment occurring at Wesak between Shambhala, the Christ, the Lord Buddha, hierarchy, and humanity. And at Wesak, the inflow of energy from Sanat Kumara, Buddha in Christ, is stepped down through the triangle of the 3 representatives of Shambhala via the hierarchy. That is the Manu, the Christ, and the Mahachohan, who invoke the Buddha and who, in his turn, is the transmitter of still higher forces and transmits the appeal to the one whose agent he is, that is, Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, at Shambhala. But there is also another crucial alignment occurring, which we need to keep in mind. It's between the Lord of the world, linked through the Manu, representing Shambhala, the Christ, representing hierarchy, and Master Ah, the Lord of civilization, representing humanity. And so these three great planetary centers are then related and can be brought into a close relation so that the result will be the setting up of such a potent vibration and note that the spirit of peace will be invoked and contacted. And who is the spirit of peace, and why is he so important? Well, the spirit of peace, or the spirit of equilibrium, as he's also called, is an extra-planetary being of terrific, awesome cosmic potency. And Christ serves as a channel for his directed potency, as he cannot and will not descend from his high place, being of such a pure nature. He's destined to bring peace eventually upon earth through the expression of goodwill, which will bring about right human relations. And what is the effect of the forces of light and the spirit of peace? It's that of the illumination of men's minds with love and light. And this illumination then precipitates upon the mental plane. And the spirit of peace will vitalize responsiveness of humanity via the influence of the hierarchy to the will of God, which has for basic intent the bringing of peace on earth. The Buddha, the agent of Sanat Kumara, and the embodiment of the forces of light can then be contacted. The Christ, the agent of the spirit of peace, and the embodiment of love and will of God, can also be contacted. And so through the Christ and the Buddha, humanity can now establish a close relationship with Shambhala. And the result of the direct alignment with Shambhala is that how humanity will, for the very first time, enter upon its destined task as the intelligent, loving intermediary between the higher states of planetary consciousness, the superhuman consciousness, and the subhuman kingdoms. Thus, humanity will become eventually the planetary savior, as envisaged in the plan, in the divine plan of our Logos. So the Buddha, the embodiment of the cosmic principle of light or illumination, the agent of Sanat Kumara, the organizer of the forces of enlightenment, plus the Christ, the embodiment of the cosmic principle of love. Now, these two great streams of energies blend, fuse, and release, and therefore direct the forces of enlightenment during the 5 days of Wesak. And the world disciples, the initiates, and the accepted disciples precipitate this combined energy onto the waiting world. So what is the task of the Buddha? One is to facilitate the impress of the will of God or the divine plan upon the minds of men via hierarchy, by being the intermediary between Shambhala and hierarchy. Secondly, to keep a channel open for the light to irradiate men's minds by piercing annually through light substance to the earth, as we've seen earlier on. And thirdly, to invoke in humanity the spirit of demand, whilst holding open for them the channel whereby that demand can then reach straight through to Shambhala. So the Buddha, the illumined one on the atmic plane, releases then the forces of light via hierarchy and the Christ on the Buddhic plane, and the solar angels on the higher mental plane, impressing then the divine plan on the minds of men on the lower mental plane, thus illuminating them to establish right human relations and stimulating them to ask for help. The task of the Christ and of the Buddha at the time of the May full moon is to channel and redirect the Shambhala force. The Buddha embodied the principle of light. The Christ embodied the underlying energy of consciousness. The one demonstrating the height of the attainment of the third divine aspect, while the other, the Christ, that of the second aspect. And these two together present one perfect whole. Hence, why both festivals, Wesak and the Festival of the Christ, must be considered as one. So the Buddha at Wesak evokes in humanity the spirit of demand for the forces of illumination, will to good, and life. And these forces are then precipitated by the new group of world servers onto humanity, and humanity thus stimulated asks for help. And at the June full moon, the Christ endeavors to gather onto himself all they have of appeal, prayer, and demand, voiced or unvoiced, transmitting it into an act of spiritual intent then to Shambhala. That's the process. So what are we then to do at Wesak? What does DK recommend? He says to us, I'll call you, therefore, everyone, to a great service of demand and of invocation on behalf of humanity, a demand for the inflow of light upon the decisions of men. I would ask you to request and expect the needed enlightenment for those who have to make decision on behalf of men everywhere. And he warns us, your individual enlightenment has nothing to do with this demand. It's a selfless motive which is required here, and which must lie between your individual and group demand. There must be steadiness, selflessness, and silence, plus courage and confidence. Confidence in the strength of your own souls, confidence in the watching hierarchy, and confidence in the plan, the divine plan. So I ask you, he said, at no matter what hour the full moon each month may fall, to endeavor to keep half an hour free so that you can attempt to enter in my consciousness. Attempt to find some time as near to the full moon period as is reasonably possible in your own particular circumstances. And this, my brother, is to be a group effort and not an individual one. And it is as a group that I shall seek to contact you. So a simple visualization, if you don't have time for a lengthy meditation, is this one. Just like a plant absorbs water, nutrients, and carbon dioxide onto itself and reaches towards the light, imagine then groups of disciples gathering humanity's aspirations, people's longing for union, for the divine, unrecognized yet, their desire for a better life, for right human relations, peace and harmony in the world. Then offer them to the Buddha, to hierarchy, the source of illumination and life, and stand in spiritual being in service to the whole. Then, just like the plant releases sugar and oxygen to nourish the other kingdoms, see then the groups radiating light in the minds of men, illuminating the mental world, stimulating men's minds to take right action towards establishing right human relations with one another, and strengthening the will to good in all those who love humanity. It's a very simple visualization that you can do and be potent just the same. So may the blessing of the Masters rest upon you as a group and as individuals, and may the holy ones whose pupils you seek to become show you the light you seek, give you the strong aid of their compassion and their wisdom, until you stand where the one initiator is invoked, until you see his star shine forth. And so now, let's start the actual visualization of the ceremony of Wesak. Imagine ourselves being there. And this is a simplified version of the legend of Wesak as told by Alice Bailey. High up in the foothills of the Himalayan Tibet ranges, there is a valley called the Wesak Valley, surrounded by high mountains on all sides, except towards the northeast, where there is a narrow opening in the mountain range. Up towards the northern end, there is a huge flat rock. And in that valley, there are no trees or shrubs, but it's covered with grass, and the sides of the mountains covered in trees. There, a group of beings gather, the masters of hierarchy, custodians of the logoic plan in all their grades, all taught and led by the Christ, the head of hierarchy, the master of all masters, the teacher alike of men and angels. They place themselves facing the eastern end of the valley, in concentric circles according to their initiatory status. They all gather together for a great act of sacrifice for humanity. 3 beings stand in front of a flat rock, looking towards the east. The Christ in the center, the Manu, the Ray 1 master, on his right, and the Mahachohan, the Lord of Civilization, the Ray 3 master, on his left. The 3 masters face the rock, upon which rests a crystal bowl of water. They carry a bowl too. And behind that small group of masters stand the other masters, with all their initiates and disciples in their various grades according to their ashram. They all stand together with their cup in their hands. A crowd gathers there, some in their physical presence, but others in their subjective bodies, just like us right now. So find your group, join in with your soul brothers and sisters. The whole great white brotherhood stands together as one in silence, very reverently, in disciplined purity, selflessness, and utmost receptivity. Only the soft movement of people taking up their symbolic positions in anticipation of the Buddha's presence can be heard. Then a focused silence descends upon the crowd. It's a still night, not a cloud in the sky, no wind, not a sound or a whisper. All of us are poised, serene, and receptive, waiting in contemplative reflection for the presence of the Buddha, who will appear shortly for a brief 8 minutes to shower humanity with light and to bless hierarchy and humanity, transmitting the will of the Logos to us. The Christ takes his position at the apex of the triangle of masters as head of hierarchy, facing the east. And see now the Lord of the world, Sanat Kumara, the Logos of our planet Earth, also in deep meditation. Receiving the energy of will from the solar Logos and passing it on to the Buddha. The Buddha, the embodiment of the forces of light, in turn directs the forces of light and enlightenment to the Christ, the embodiment of cosmic love, the agent of the Spirit of peace, pouring onto him renewed life, spiritual life, and light. And we will pause for 8 minutes. See a shaft of light illuminate the crystal bowl of water. The water, magnetized by the Buddha and the Christ, is the symbol of life, love, and light. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, with healing properties to be imbued by all. Renewing one's spiritual orientation towards higher values of sacrifice, selflessness, and service. The Christ bends over, picks up the bowl of water, and gently pours some in the bowls of the masters, who then fill the bowls of their disciples. Now they in turn distribute to the rest of the crowd, each person pouring the water of life to one another, a true symbol of the Aquarian age, the water carrier, pouring the waters of life to thirsty men. Symbolically, see the whole assembly, us included, turn to the rest of humanity and imaginatively fill their cups with life, strength, light, and love. Now, see that symbolic wave of light, power, and love carried further from the Wesak Valley to the whole planet, enlivening it. And imagine now our planet Earth radiating out the forces of illumination, enlightenment, and wisdom. In tone the powerful invocations as a group soul, saying them with intensity of feeling, in unison with hierarchy on the inner planes. And as we grasp their significance and believe that they embody the will of the planetary logos. Someone volunteered to voice this invocation.
Let the forces of light bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May men of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all men be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us to do our part.
Let the Lords of Liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons of men. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and coming save. Come forth, O Mighty One. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. Come forth, O Mighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O Mighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, O Mighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end.
Let's work with the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. Oh. Oh.
And now let's raise our clasp hands above the head and say, so let it be, and help us to do our part. Then bring them down to your forehead and let them rest gently on your heart, so that these energies can radiate out silently and powerfully into your immediate environment and further to your community and way beyond. And thank you, friends, for joining us, and our gratitude for your presence, your commitment, and your selfless service to humanity at this important spiritual event, the highlight of the year. Even more important this year being in 2025, on the eve of the conclave. So on behalf of hierarchy and on behalf of humanity, thank you. And friends, gratitude to all our members and friends of our esoteric healing community who participate in our virtual choir, which to me was a symbol of the unity of the inner and the outer planes working together as one, as Michael led us the virtual choir into the Om. So gratitude to all of you. And also, friends, in view of the 2025 conclave approaching, please add your voices to our invocative appeal to the triangle of synthesis composed of the avatar of synthesis, the spirit of peace, and the Lord Buddha, via hierarchy, in helping humanity in its present crisis, facing the emboldened forces of materialism and aggression. So please join us at any of those sessions. We have a group meditating every day at 9 p.m. GMT, and also on Friday, every Friday, 11 p.m. GMT, and also every Sunday at 11 a.m. GMT. Please join us on behalf of humanity and hierarchy. And also an initiative that we have launched some time ago. Please join in our subjective group sounding of the Om of fiery love on the node G of love, preferably to the heart of humanity, at least once a day, so that during the 24 hours, since all our members span the whole globe, then we would have somebody, we will have one Om at least sounded every hour for 24 hours. This is going to be a terrific potency and of great spiritual import if we can pull it off. So please, friends, it only takes a few seconds, and I've included here our group sounding the Om. You can use that if you like, or just sound the Om wherever you are. Sound that Om with all your heart and sound it as a group, and send that fiery love through your Om to the heart of humanity. It's not a lot to ask. It only takes 20 seconds to sound one Om. You can, of course, sound more than one or more than once in a day, twice, before dinner and after, and before lunch, if you like, or any time that you like. Please join us in doing that. Thank you, friends. And thank you for adding your light to our reservoir of light and making our world a better place.